What was your biggest booyah moment, like as a producer, when you find that
Hmm.
piece of footage and you're like, this is gold. I can't believe it.
Oh my gosh. I mean, there were so many. I think that I don't know if it was a piece of footage, but one of the things that I really wanted to do when we were telling the Spygate story was obviously this could be a part of Bill Belichick's career. I know for a fact he doesn't really want to, you can see him in the interview chair, he doesn't want to really relive it that much. But what I thought was remarkable about that moment wasn't as much that they got caught cheating, because that story has been told 1,000 times. What I liked about that story was that any other team with any other culture would have fallen apart at the seams. But because of the culture that Bill had created, and because of Tom Brady's buy-in, and because of everybody there's buy-in, that team, instead of folding, they wrap their arms, literally and figuratively around Bill, and they say, "How do we feel about being coached by Bill Belichick?" And they go, "Oh yeah." And one of our editors, who grew up a couple towns outside of Foxborough, and had all the posters on the walls when he was growing up and everything. He cut the first version of that undefeated run, and he sort of described it like these guys are all on the Death Star. They're the evil empire now, but they're all on the Death Star, and they're having a party as they go from planet to planet, destroying everybody in their path. And I just thought, how much more fun is this to like be with them and have Teddy Bruschi say something like, it kind of felt like we were the bad guys, and it kind of felt good. And that was like a different take on all of this. And this idea of like, Bill at a low point probably for him is when everybody embraces him and they go on this ride, and it leads to this sort of operatic finish of going up against the Giants and losing in this, incredible fashion. And so I think that the human story of all of these things, whether it's the betrayal in Scott Pioli's words by Eric Mangini or anything else, I think that's the stuff that always interests me more than the football.
Did you obviously reach out to Eric Mangini to speak? I assume he
I
declined.
did at one point. No, I definitely did. And I just said, I sort of the same thing that I tell a lot of people, which is, you're obviously part of this story and you're going to be a character in this story. And what I always try to do with everybody, and it's what I tried to do with Bill, frankly, when I asked him some of the tougher questions, is to give him the opportunity to comment, because I want them to tell their story and let me get out of the way as much as possible. And so we asked, and it was just, he declined, and then, we moved on.
When did you get the sense that you mentioned Bill that he was just gonna kind of stonewall in a way and just really not kind of embrace the process here?
Well, I mean, look, I understand what you're talking about. When we get to some of the more difficult subject matter, whether it's Hernandez or Deflategate or,
Right.
even the benching of Malcolm Butler, he's definitely like that. But I also, I think when there were subjects that we talked about that he wanted to talk about, whether it was calling Randy Moss and the club in Houston,
Oh, that was a
and
great story, by the way. That's
Randy
incredible.
Randy thinking that it's an Bill
Yeah.
Belichick impersonator.
Yeah.
Bill loved telling that story. He loved to, I mean, in episode 10, you know, uh, basically to give your viewers a sense of how incredible the game plan was from Bill in that for the Rams Super Bowl, the second Rams Super Bowl. Um, Bill and his coaching staff realized that the Rams, basically don't play well against zone defense. But the problem was that the Patriots, and this is something that Devin McCourty actually tipped us off to, basically that the Patriots played man the entire season. And so in 2 weeks, Bill Belichick gets that team ready to play zone defense and stops one of the most sort of incredible offenses in NFL history, and I think holds them to 3 points in the Super Bowl. And at the end of it, Steve Young is, sort of doing commentary, and he says, "This is Bill Belichick's Mona Lisa." And so, those moments are just incredible. And obviously, Bill lights up when you're talking about that kind of stuff.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.